Dealing with gut issues? Want to know how you should work out? Watch this.
Our next caller is Emily from New York.
Hi, Emily. How can we help you?
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm 21 years old from Buffalo, New York, and I have a question about what my training focus should look like while I'm prioritizing my gut health. So I'm currently working with Dr. Becky Campbell to work through my SIBO, leaky gut, IBS, all of the things, and I don't know what to focus on right now in terms of working out. I've been really frustrated the past 2 years with my lack of progression in the big three lifts. And I didn't realize until I was listening to you guys that it was probably my gut health kind of holding me back. And I finally accepted earlier this year that I probably should step away from the intensity of chasing PRs all the time. And so I decided to focus on other things like my pistol squat, progressing single leg RDLs, working on my hip mobility, just some other things instead. That being said, my primary goal is to get back to training heavy because I really love that. And I still want to put on muscle. So how soon is too soon for me to focus on this again? And like what other skills should I work on in the meantime to best set myself up for success when I go back to training heavy? And should I still be in this muscle gain mindset, or is that kind of just deterring me from getting better?
How far are you with Dr. Becky Campbell's team with working with your gut issues? Did you just start?
Yeah, we've only recently met within the past month, but I've been working with other doctors on this for like 2 years, so it's been a long time.
Have you done antibiotics?
Oh yeah, no, I think that was part of the issue. I was on antibiotics for like 4 years for my skin, and they never told me that it could totally mess me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're young, so you're going to bounce real quick. But how big of a role do you think stress plays with your gut issues? Because I see in your question that you're going to school for neuroscience.
Yeah. No, I'm about to graduate in like 4 days. So.
Okay.
I'm a senior in college.
And then are you gonna keep going? Are you gonna go for master's, PhD, or are you done?
I'm taking a gap year or two to get more clinical hours, and then I'm gonna go back to school to be a PA. So hopefully to work in functional medicine, but under a DO doctor.
Okay. So you got some stress on you.
Yeah. I try my best to manage it. I love to walk. That really helps me. And I started doing breath work in the morning, and that helps, but it's hard to not be stressed out.
Yeah, I think, okay, so here's what I'm going to say. You're working with Dr. Becky Campbell. She's one of the best in the business. You just started working with her, so there's a process of killing off the bad bacteria, rebuilding up good bacteria. Then there's a process of healing, which takes a little while. That places a large stress on the body, and if you're already stressed, exercising with a goal of progressing in performance is probably not a good idea. So I would treat exercise right now as a way to just make yourself feel good.
Yeah, recuperative.
So like 2 days a week of full body strength training would be great. Now, what probably is going to happen, and I wouldn't rest your hat on this, but what might happen is you'll actually progress just from taking a little break. But I would go 2 days a week, full body, and the rest of the time I would work on just mobility and just feeling good. That's all I would do.
Walking, yoga, more recuperative.
Yeah.
Manage that stress bucket a little bit better. It's a really hard question to answer because it's so individualized based off of how fast and how well you progress with Becky Campbell. Now, the one thing that I would caution, and this is actually no different than somebody who just tore an Achilles or the MCL or ACL and you start rehabbing. The tendency that we have is we start rehabbing, we start feeling better, and then we start wanting to push our limits, and then we have this massive setback. We see the same thing with gut health.
Yeah.
Somebody starts working with a functional practitioner, they start making good food choices, they're starting to feel really good, and then they start chasing the PRs again, and then they have this big setback again. And so you're just going to have to really listen to your body, and be careful of being tempted to want to push as soon as you feel a little bit better. I would just slowly inch my way up in that direction before I throttle down. And or if you start to inch your way up and you start noticing little setbacks, listen to your body and go back the other direction versus trying to force your way through it just because you feel a little bit better.
So I'm so glad you said that, Adam. That's such a big point because you through the treatment process or through this process, you will feel better. You'll start to absorb nutrients better, and you're going to feel strong. But the healing process hasn't been completed yet. So what Adam said is extremely important. If you continue to work with Dr. Becky Campbell's team, they will, through testing, be able to advise you and tell you you're doing too much when it comes to exercise or stress. So I would ask for their feedback as well. Hey, I feel like I can do more. What do you think? What do my tests say? Well, your cortisol's a little high, inflammation's still high. I think we should back off. Or yeah, everything looks good. Go ahead and inch it up a little bit. So I would definitely use their discretion in terms of how hard you should go. But I mean, generally speaking, MAPS Anabolic, the 2-day week version would be perfect. I would do that, and then the rest of the time work on mobility and just being generally active. And I don't think you're going to see your body backslide at all. So if you're worried about like, oh my God, I'm going to lose muscle and gain body fat, what will probably happen is you'll probably actually move forward a little bit through that. So
yeah, that's the silver lining when you're able to actually go through the healing process, like how much better your body operates and functions, and will allow you to throttle up a bit more in terms of like force production. So it'll all come back. It's just you got to give your body that adequate time to really heal itself.
Yeah. Did you test for SIBO with Dr. Becky Campbell so they were able to positively identify that that's what you got going on?
Yeah, I tested positive over the summer, and then I tested positive in the winter, and then we just ran another test. So it's been present for a while.
Okay. With SIBO and SIFO, which is related, is that you'll see that you'll get rid of it, but then there's a process of continuing to work where it doesn't come back because the reoccurrence rate's so high because I think people celebrate too quickly. Mm-hmm. That was me.
That was me too.
Yeah. So it's a longer process than people realize. But the hard part is in the beginning. Once you figure it out and how to treat it and work with it, then you'll see a lot of progress. But then don't lay off the throttle and be like, oh, like that's what I would do. Like, oh, I feel better. Let me go eat all these things that I know used to bother me. Let me not do the protocol anymore. And then boom, I'd get a reoccurrence again. And just over and over again. So I forgot who it was we had on the show. It was the functional medicine practitioner that worked with
they're usually it's like a 2-year.
He said it's like a year or two. Yeah. Year or two process. That doesn't mean you don't get better faster. You do. It's just there's still that after care that you need to do.
Considering
that was Will Cole.
Dr. Will Cole. Right. Did you listen to that episode?
I've been listening for like a year and a half, so probably.
Okay, cool.
If it was in there.
All right, good. Well, you're on the right track if you're working with the right people. So I think, do you have MAPS Anabolic?
I don't have anabolic, but I was wondering, would MAPS Performance be too much if I did 2 of those days?
No, that's perfectly fine. Do you have MAPS Performance?
I don't have that.
All right, I'm going to send you anabolic and performance, so you take your pick, okay?
Yeah, either one would be good for you for sure.
Thank you guys so much.
You got it. Thanks. Go ahead.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
So I ran MAPS Symmetry over the winter as like my first step of kind of taking my intensity back because I was running like a powerlifting program, and I could tell that I was getting really unsymmetrical, and also my stomach and all of that. So I decided to run MAPS Symmetry. But with all of the mobility, it kind of seems like one of my hips has unlocked a certain level of mobility and my other one hasn't. So I've noticed I've been shifting a little bit with my squats.
Performance.
Yeah, not sure what.
Do MAPS Performance. Yeah, do MAPS Performance, and Symmetry would even be a good program to go back to. It could take a little longer. So how long did you do powerlifting training before you went into Symmetry?
I did it it was about 4 months. Before that, I ran MAPS Strong, and then I kind of wanted to do Strong as a precursor to powerlift. So then I did that, and I could just feel the imbalances kind of coming on. So I knew it was time to do symmetry.
It may just need that a little bit more of that attention of lateral stability, rotational stability, of really getting it familiar of how, you know, in terms of if you're in the sagittal plane quite often, and then now all of a sudden you're introducing these other ranges of motion and not quite getting strong with that yet, like it may need a little bit more attention in that direction.
Yeah, and I just want to comment on a college, a girl your age in college. Your choice of programs is amazing.
Yeah.
Usually young women are like, you know, HIIT and cardio and whatever. You're like strong, power lift, you know, symmetry. Like, good job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, those are the right programs. But I think symmetry and performance will probably be the ones that you're going to benefit from most in that regard.
Take a look at your feet too, Emily, when you squat. Pay attention to many times when we'll see issues or discrepancies in like one hip or the other, it actually stems a lot of times all the way from the feet, and it'll do this kind of zigzag thing. So if it's my right foot, then it jumps to my left knee to my right hip. So when you pay attention the next time you're squatting and you see this kind of asymmetrical shift you're talking about, and see if you notice something in the feet. Many times on the opposing side, you will see that foot's pronating more, or it has like this external rotation excessively in comparison to the left. And there might be some hip ankle stuff for us to address that will actually eliminate and alleviate some of the stuff going on in the hip.
Yeah, great point.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys so much.
All right. Thanks for calling in, dude. So a lot of people don't know this, but those acne antibiotics, they'll put them on for years.
It's like a little nuclear bomb in your stomach.
You annihilate your gut. Annihilate. If people don't, you need to, before you do something like that, read people's accounts of what happened to them afterwards. Those are like one of the worst treatments, in my opinion. And I know acne can be, you know, something terrible to deal with, but do your research on that, man. You are nuking your gut for a while to get rid of acne, and then you're left with these crazy after effects. I've worked with clients, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah, the one thing I just caution her with, and I made the point already, just going to double down on it, is that, you know, I just find this with the gut, with injuries, like I was talking about with the knee or hip or ankle, like, you know, we have this tendency of when we rehab, we start feeling better to like want to push the limits right away. And then that's when the setbacks come. So it's no different for the gut. Someone starts,
especially somebody's performance driven like that.
That's why I feel that way, right? She's got that kind of athletic mindset, go getter, right? Type A personality probably. So starts feeling better with the gut, and then starts either one, introducing those foods that were, you know, messing her up before, or pushing the limits in the weight room, or the combination of both, right? Start introducing the foods plus pushing limits, and then you have this huge setback. And then a lot of times these clients think that, oh, the functional medicine thing didn't really work, you know, and they go back to like thinking like, oh, it's not, it's a bunch of BS. It's not really helping me, but it's like, no, you got to stick to it a lot longer than that.